Hello everybody, welcome back to Wedding Wednesdays. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. Today I would like to talk about DIY wedding walls, which is such a cool, unique way to elevate your wedding and make it totally your own. Wedding walls. What is a wedding wall? First of all, it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. It's essentially a wall that you set up, usually at your reception, that is very cute, usually has something to do with you as a couple, or is a way to show off your champagne, is something that you can set up for guests to take your gifts, whatever they are, with them. So there are so many different versions of these. Before we get into all the different versions of them, I want to talk about how you make them, and then we'll get into all the cool ways that you can make it your own, and I'll show you all these different versions that other people have done for their weddings, so hopefully you can get brainstorming. And all you outside wedding brides, this could be a really cool way to amplify your wedding, and it looks like, yeah, you'll take some muscle to it, but then you could resell it for a profit or whatever you want to do. So I think that they're very cool. Alright, so let's get into it. How do you make a wedding wall? There are two different ways that you can make a wedding wall. The first way to make a wedding wall is you get plywood, and essentially you're going to make a stand. You might need some 2x4s or some 4x4s, different things to prop it up. This is where I would get dad's advice, or if your fiance is a handyman, pull him in on it. You guys can make these together, which would be really fun. A really fun little bonding project before the wedding. There is another version of this where you can just make the outline of a thing. So if you're going to hang anything, you can just make a little square box and paint it up and call it good, and it's really cute. Now that we've kind of covered the basis of how it works, I'm going to, by the way, there is a person who walks you through how to make one of these, so I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to leave that link down below so you can click on that video and watch how to make one, so that way you can follow that. Let's dive into all the different kinds of wedding walls. The main one that you've probably seen is the champagne walls, and there are multiple ways of how to do these because they're very popular. The first way that you can make it is you can just make a plain wall, and you can add greenery to that wall, and then you can go onto Amazon and you can get champagne flute holders and just stick those on your wall and maybe like nail or screw them in so they stay in place and they're well secured, and then boom, you've got a spot where you can put all your champagne glasses. I've even seen some people do it where it's champagne on one side for the ladies and beer on the other side for the guys, which I thought was really fun. You can get fancy with these, so you can make little cutouts, so you can take plywood and you can, like, for example, cut out a circle and place that in front of your DIY wall that you've made, and boom, it looks super elevated. Just give it a nice coat of paint and you're done, and it looks gorgeous. I've also seen where people like to put greenery in front of it. I think that that looks super classy. If you want to take it one step further, you can add neon to the top of it. Neon signs are actually kind of starting to come down in price because most of the people are not making them with actual neon, they're making them LED. So you can also pop on Amazon, pop on Etsy, purchase yourself a little neon sign, be sure that you're close to an outlet, put it on top, and ooh, it looks super fancy, you know? And I think that that's super fun and super cool. Now let's get into all the other ones, because this is, I think, how you can make your wedding your own and so unique. Way number one to make it super unique and super your own is to incorporate pictures. Make it a picture wall. I've seen people do this in multiple different ways. I've seen people take all their family portraits and like everyone's wedding photos, which I thought was really cool, and place them on the board and set it behind the head table, so you're sitting behind everyone's wedding photos, and that looks gorgeous and really cool. And the way that that couple did it, it looked super moody and really was just so beautiful and so romantic, adding in the element of family. I thought that that was really sweet. I've also seen people make boards with slats so that you can hang the Polaroids as you're going along throughout the night. Say you've got a Polaroid camera that you're letting your guests take pictures of, they can just clip it to a string, and that's super easy. You just add some boards with slats and some strings, and boom, they're good. They can start hanging the photos that they took, and it's such a cute keepsake that you have for your own wedding day, and it's really cool. If you want to elevate that even more, you can add LED strings to it with little fairy lights, and just really add a pop of light, a pop of color to it, and so it looks really fancy and beautiful. The next ones that are absolutely my favorite, these are totally adorable, is flower walls and propagation stations. So if you're really into plants or you're really into flowers and you have extra leftovers for your wedding, or if you've spent the time, like I've had a few brides who have spent a serious amount of time growing their own flowers or succulents as take-home gifts for their guests. So one thing that you can do is you can create a wall and make little shelves and paint it up white, pink, cream, whatever you want to paint it, and you set your flowers on or your plants on these shelves as take-home gifts for your guests, and it is just darling. Oh my gosh, it's so cute, so beautiful. I'm going to add a whole bunch of photos here so you can look at it. But I think for my wedding, this is a must. But what do you think? Let me know down below. Now there's different ways that you can also set up for your table arrangements. I've seen people make walls, and again, they make little shelves on their walls, and they get those like clear signs with where everyone's sitting, and I think that that's really cute too. So it's basically a seating guide at the entrance of your reception, and it looks totally stunning. And yeah, it's super easy to figure out where everyone's sitting, and it's super manageable. I've also seen people create these shelves where they put their desserts on them. So if you got donuts or cookies, donuts are super easy because you just add little prongs to them so your donuts can sit on there. But if you're doing like cookies or cupcakes or macarons or whatever, make little shelves and set all your desserts on them, and it looks really cute that way too. And that way you don't have to set up an actual dessert table. You can just have a dessert wall off to the side. You know, because sometimes I have noticed that a lot of guests are confused by when they should actually get up and get a cupcake. Like, say if you got like your cake table and you got cupcakes and stuff next to it, you have the issue of people will come up before dinner's even happened as they're waiting during cocktail hour, and they'll start taking those things before your photographer has even photographed it. If it's on a wall by its side and you got this own mini table for your personal cake, then it's easy. Guests can go ahead and take from that. They don't feel pressure to, you know, sit and wait, and they aren't unsure about it. And, you know, your guests will love it. You're going to like the fact that they're not taking away from your display before you're ready for it because you haven't entered into the wedding yet. And yeah, I think that that's really, yeah, a good way to go. Alright, and here's where you can get super cute and sentimental with it. There is a version of this that I saw, I can't remember if it was TikTok or Instagram, but essentially somebody made a wedding wall. They put a bunch of envelopes on it, so essentially you don't have to build any shelves, nothing. You can just literally stick envelopes to it and write your couple's names or your guests' names on it. So if you got a family, just put their last name. If you got a specific couple or friend, put their name on it. And something that I saw that is just the sweetest thing ever is they, instead of writing thank you notes, they went ahead and they wrote a letter to every one of their guests that showed up. Not everyone, so like specific families or couples or friends or whatever, talking about their memories with them and how much they loved them and appreciated them coming out on that day. And that is something that is so sentimental, so sweet. Imagine if you pull up to a wedding and you've got a letter there for you telling you how much you're loved by the couple, and I think that that is just so sweet. I've said that so many times, but it really is. It's just adorable. It's something that apparently everyone talked about and has been talking about for years after their wedding, and of course, why not? I mean, you're shown how much you're loved and appreciated by the couple right then and there, and yeah, I think that it's so perfect. Then obviously there is so many different ways that you can make walls for your guests to stand in front of to take pictures. So instead of having a little photo booth, you could set that up. I'm gonna put a bunch of photos of that in right now. If you want to be sustainable about this, another way that you can go about it is go ahead and make yourself an inlaid shelf that you can put into your home after you're done. Now here's where you can be totally cute and unique. I'm gonna put up some really random ones that I've seen. If any of these speak to you, that's awesome. I saw somebody do a take a book, leave a book, or just take a book as their thank you. They had a bunch of books that they just let their gifts have, and they signed the front initial or the front copy of them and boom, set them in the wall, and that was really cute. There was a couple that really loved tea, so they made an infusion station. There was a couple who loved sweets, so they set up a little candy section for their guests to sit and take candy from as they were eating. Where to next station, so your guests can make a game out of it, put a bunch of globes out. Well, you can do this two ways. You can do where did everyone come from to the wedding, so people can put little stickers or pins or whatever, or you can put a where are they going next and place a spot where the couple's gonna honeymoon. So yeah, it's really fun. Then you can turn this into a Sunday station by simply adding the same little holders that you would add for a champagne holder, but you hold your little candy bowls up there and put your little toppings on, and you just put a little table in front of where people can scoop their ice cream and stuff, and then yeah, you just go ahead and you put your little candies or sprinkles or whatever, so your couples can dish that out. Now, one way to be totally epic and set up just the most beautiful photogenic spot for you to photograph is to find thrifted cathedral stained glass windows, cathedral doors, and you can stick them together as one little station to take photos in front of, line it with flowers. Ugh, to die for. Now, three other ones that I've seen that are totally unique is somebody liked to make the little village houses, so she did our village and she let people take houses as little gifts, which is really cool. Somebody did it and they hung little disco balls from it, and that was their little to-go gift to their guests, so that was really cute. There's also ones that I've seen where you can put a little bell on there, and people can grab that before like you leave and do a little ring the bell photo with your couples. So that one would be good, especially if you're leaving a church. Set that up, people can grab a bell and boop, you know, ring you off. One last version of this that I've seen is you can use it to display your cups. So I've seen two ways of doing this. I've seen people go thrifting for those depression mark glasses, and they'll set up a bunch of those, and you can take your glass to go sit down with dinner. Or somebody had, their thing was collections of mugs, so they bought a whole bunch of different mugs to give away to their guests as their gift, and they were all silly, none of them looked alike, they were all different, they were all related to the couple, and yeah. So essentially, wedding walls is just one way to get extremely creative for your wedding, and I think it's really cool because you can bring a little bit of personality and who you are into your day, and I think that that's really sweet, really special, and it just looks gorgeous. So yeah, I hope you like these. If you have seen any that I didn't talk about, feel free to drop it down below and maybe we'll talk about them in the future. If you have more questions, feel free to message me, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you all next week.